The Talking Leeds Podcast with Arron Marshall and George Brooke.
Hello and welcome to Talking Leeds with myself, Arron Marshall, and Mr. George Brooke, the fellow. Well, he's an avid reader of the Bible. Is Mr. Brooke? That beard continues to get longer and longer and longer with the disciple that is Jesus. So yes, good evening, George. Good afternoon, morning, whatever you say. How are you, sir?
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, and everybody watching as well. Good evening. Jimbo looks like he's sleeping already. Good evening to you, Jimbo. But yeah, no, doing okay. And as I shared with you over the weekend or just before, I was getting some crank calls.
You were, yes.
Leeds United over the last week since we spoke. Obviously, international week last week. Finally, it's coming back for the weekend. Big game for us on Saturday, as we'll discuss. Okay, you've come out of it, Jimbo. Fair enough. Did you see the English games? I presume you're English. I don't know. You might not be.
Yeah, the international break. Well, on the back of the international break, that's it now until. Is it November?
November. There's only. I think we might have 3 or 4 more games, and then we've got another. Which is a pain.
When is the next international break then? Is it November?
Mid-November, yeah, 13th, I think, of November.
I actually thought that this international break was it now until Christmas. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought that was it now.
No. There's one more, and then I think that's the next one till is March or something. So from November till March, I think you do get a good run of 10, 15 games, maybe without an international break. So there's a lot. I think we had 6 lads on. We had 6 lads in international duty, 4 of which, I think 3 of them were definitely for Wales.
Yeah.
I think the other 3 were Jacob Joel, who's that, by the way. There was Brendan Aronson and Tanaka played. They beat Brazil.
They did.
Great
result for them. Yeah. I can't say that I was impressed because I find international football boring.
No, it was very string Brazilian side.
Yeah, listen,
he was only as sub as Jimbo.
If that were England, we'd be all over it. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a great result for Japan. To be fair.
Yeah, they qualified for the World Cup as well. England obviously qualified for the World Cup.
Yes, they did. Was it Tuesday? Tuesday they beat Latvia.
Yeah, well, it was a dead set one. Have you heard that? Speaking of World Cup, the UEFA are going to try and change it from the format into the Swiss model, like the Champions League, to make it more interesting. It's complete nonsense. Just it doesn't matter. Just allow England to qualify. There you go. That'll make everybody happy. But it's nonsense.
I mean, they're always, the thing is, England are always going to qualify, Aaron, because they're playing up against teams like, no disrespect to Latvia or anybody Latvian watching, but they're up against teams like that all the time. Andorra, we always seem to play Andorra. There's just always the same kind of play teams coming up in these groups, and they never not going to qualify. I mean, fair enough, everybody's getting excited because we spanked them 5-0, I assume. I haven't seen any of the reaction, but obviously Tuchel, and we beat Serbia 5-0 as well, didn't we, before? So everybody's probably getting a bit excited. I know Harry Kane got a couple of goals, but as Jimbo says, I think, Cape Verde Islands, no disrespect to them, they've got some good players.
Yeah.
And,
Well, they're off to the World Cup, George. They've qualified. How they've done it is beyond what anybody could imagine, but they've done it. Uzbekistan have qualified for the World Cup. That's not Borat, is it? That's Kazakhstan.
I think no, Borat's Kazakhstan. Yeah, I think there was. I think there's also Jordan and a couple other ones where you're thinking, what there, and it's because they've obviously tinkered with the amount of teams that are now coming through to it. So I think that how many teams are there in now? Is it
48?
48 teams.
I'm sure somebody in the comments will let us know. I think it's 48 teams qualify for the World Cup this year.
Yeah,
well, they've expanded it, haven't they? It's all been expanded.
That's what I mean. So it's all been expanded. So it's a bit hard for teams not to get qualified. Now, Jordan, likes of, Cape Verde Islands, no disrespect to them, Uzbekistan, things like this. They would never have a chance in heck of getting in if it wasn't expanded. I mean, maybe we'll bring Harvey along. I don't know. Who knows?
Kosovo. I'm just looking at the tables of international World Cup qualifying. Germany and Slovakia. That's a tasty. Northern Ireland. That's a tasty group if you're interested, but I'm not. Switzerland and Kosovo. They're battling it out. Kosovo. They've risen up from nowhere, haven't they?
So Kosovo they beat
Sweden. Second. They did, yeah.
Sweden, didn't they, the other day?
Yeah,
played
as well. Yeah, Denmark, Scotland, 10 points. France, Ukraine, battling it out. Spain always qualify. They're pretty much there. Portugal, pretty much there. Ireland, special mention to Jerry. He was on TV, by the way.
He was.
He's singing the Irish national anthem. He's been on his. Yeah, they were unlucky to lose that.
Yeah,
he said to me, he messaged me and said, unlucky. But there's still the shout of second place. Netherlands and Poland battling it out. Austria, Bosnia battling it out. Romania still have an outside chance. Norway, they are pretty much nearly there, I think. 18 points. It'll be wrapped up in November. Belgium, North Macedonia, Wales. Leeds interesting there with Wales. They're still battling it out for a place. England obviously through. Croatia, they're always there. And Czech Republic in the old school.
Yes, there you go. I mean, it's a bit diluted though, isn't it? It's a bit of a shame, really. But
what gets me is, and I've ranted about the Nations League. The Nations League, there's paths for those who were promoted and won the groups to kind of get in the back door for a playoff place as well. It's just nonsense. It really is complete nonsense.
Oh, it is. It's ridiculous nonsense, isn't it? And it replaces friendly games if you and all the like. So it's it is what it is. You've just got to get on with it. But for me,
speaking of, just want to touch on the internationals as well, George. I don't know if you've heard this week. The FA are exploring potential opponents for England in preparation for the World Cup. A certain Marcelo Bielsa could be returning to England with Uruguay to come and face England in a friendly.
That would be very interesting, wouldn't it, Arron? I'm sure Leeds fans would be very excited about this one as well. And heck, if you can get a ticket for Wembley, I don't know how easy it is to get tickets for England.
Forget it. Get it back. Like Jimbo says there, that has to be played at Ellen Road. So the FA, they've got to make that happen. Get that up at Ellen Road. They have hosted them before.
They have. I think the last one was in 2002, maybe something like this.
No, it was before that. It was. Oh God, now you test me. I think it was a Southgate era. England played somebody.
Oh, sorry, they did about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. Make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
Make it happen. So that's the international roundup. Boring as hell. We absolutely hate the international break. I really do. But the proper football returns, George. Daniel Farke has done his press conference this week.
Right.
The football is back. Harry Gray, breaking news. Harry Gray, he's going to sign a new deal with Leeds, isn't he? He's going to sign his first professional contract with Leeds. What are your thoughts on that one, George?
Yeah, not bothered really. You know what I mean?
It's
things,
talent.
Yeah, but he's not going to play, is he? It's fair enough. He gets the contract. Fair play to him. Done really well. But he's played a few minutes at the end of the season last season for his debut. We won't see him this season. I think Farke has already said this. He's on the bench, but he won't play unless it's absolutely dire straits and we've got loads and loads of injuries. And he won't play. But for me, yeah, fair enough. Fair play to him. Good. Great moment for him. Payday for him as well. But very much an increase in his wages, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, as a fan's perspective, it's just the club gets more money for him at the end of the day. He won't stay at Leeds for that long. I know people were saying like Spurs and Man City are interested, which I'm sure they are. And ultimately, it'll just be like, how much more money can we get for Harry now? I know he might play a season next time, or he might be in for a few years. But ultimately, it's just adding the value to him. And he's obviously clearly a decent player. It's a real shame for me what's happened to Archie Gray, to be honest with you, Arron.
Archie at Spurs, George, I think it was a really topsy-turvy kind of environment, wasn't it, last year for Archie when he went to Spurs, and he was drafted in. I think he played at centre-back quite a lot as well.
He did,
last year in Europe and things. But listen, he's got a European medal under his belt. We put some 40 million quid, and the last game against Spurs before the international break, he got a warm reception from Leeds fans, and he seemed to be enjoying it as well there at the end of the final whistle and giving all the Leeds fans a clap. So, listen, you just got to wish him all the best. 40 million quid's a lot of money, especially for somebody that age. But the talent's there for him, George, and it will come well for him. It really will.
It will, but I don't think it'll be at Spurs. I mean, he was an unused sub-1 last when we played him a few weeks ago, and I know it's good that he got I'm sure why would he not get a good reception? I mean, he did his bit for for our club, didn't he, when he played for us? And Farke were throwing him in. He spoke before the game, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago, saying he threw him Archie in over season pros, all the time. Yeah. I mean, look at the time. He was in all season over Ayling, wasn't he, basically?
Yeah. He made Ayling go.
He did. On loan to Middlesbrough. Then he was in the centre of midfield as well, wasn't he, for quite a number of games as well. And he played, I'm not sure the stats offhand, but he must have played. I bet he played over 40 games that season for Leeds in the Championship.
Yeah, he did.
And he went on to play in the Premier League. Played in and out the team. As he's only 18, and he's still 19. I don't know.
19,
and Harry's 17, so he won't play this season unless it's dire straits for us. But fair enough. It's good to tie these guys into contracts, but at the ultimate end of the day,
contract-wise, then, George, what would you say then? Because obviously we've heard a lot about him. He's very talented, as Harry Gray. He is going to be, he's going to be the poster boy of Leeds. Let's be honest, in the next couple of years. Contract-wise, what would you time down to? Would you go for 3, 4, 5, or even a 6-year deal? I don't think Leeds have ever given out any 6-year deals. I think the max they've given is 5. Would you try and tie him down for a longer period of time to allow him to grow, develop, potentially go out on loan? What would you say is a good contract length for him?
Well,
we know the talent, George. We know he's a talented player.
I'd give him a 5-year contract. That'll see him to 22, something like that. Yeah. I'd give him that, and then I wouldn't put him out on loan. Look, some players are too good to go out on loan, and by all accounts, Harry Gray is very, very good.
He will need to go out on loan. He will need to go out on loan at some point, because you can't. Because ultimately, you're not going to throw him into the Premier League, especially if we're still in the Premier League next year. and you're aiming for a promotion from the Championship, you're going to have all the big dogs sniffing around him. It's as simple as that. But if you're still in the Premier League, he needs to learn, develop, get game time, especially at that age. He needs to learn and develop. It's so important, especially at that age. Would you throw him into the other alternative is you throw him in to be a first-team starter?
No, not a first-team starter. You throw him into the... He's already on the bench. I know he won't play.
In terms of his development, you can't just keep him on the bench forever, because if you're giving somebody a 5-year deal as an example, you're sitting them on the bench. It's a waste. It's a waste of resource, really, George. If I'm being honest.
Well, no. Next season, if we're still in the Premier League, you have him on the bench as like a squad play. They've turned 18 at that point. Throw him in here and there. If we get relegated, then I think he starts in the Championship. If Farke's still there,
he will be. Yeah, but go on.
I don't think he will be if we get relegated. Actually, he might be. I don't think he'll still be there if we're down there towards the end of it. I don't think Farke will be there if we get relegated next season, because he'll have already gone. But
forget Farke. Think about.
I think Harry Gray will. If we did get relegated in the Championship next season, I think he'd be knocking on the door to start. But look at Archie. He was straight in there. We got relegated. And he never played a first-team game in his life before until that Cardiff game at Ellen Road on that first game. And he was straight in there. So, he was 17 at the time as well, was he?
Yeah. Jimbo makes a point here, says they need to start playing under 21 games at Ellen Road. Cheap tickets to fans turn up and get them ready for the league that way. The problem with the under 21s, Jimbo, is I've seen, for myself down there at Ellen Road for under 21 games, the level of competition is completely different to the Premier or the Championship. It's a different league. It's a bit of a kick around, let's be honest. It's a kick around.
Of course it is, yeah.
That's all it is. The only way that you learn and develop, you look at people like Harry Kane, who's been out on loan in the lower leagues throughout his career and built himself up. You learn your trade, you learn your graft by going and learning your trade pretty much on the go. We've sent kids out on loan in the past. We still have, they're going out there, and obviously some of our loan players who are out on there will not be coming back to the club. But your younger ones, you expect them to go learn and come back and try and compete for a place, within the pre-season.
Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
Can you remember the last young player that we sent out on loan to the EFL or whatever when we're in the Premier League or lower down when we're in the Championship? And can you remember the last time we've sent a young player out on loan and they come then back to Leeds and then are a good starter in the first team, whatever division we're in? When was the last time this happened? Because it doesn't happen very often nowadays. You're always sending young players out on loan, and then you never hear of them again in a Leeds United shirt. They're just sold up to lower league teams. It doesn't happen anymore. Even under Bielsa, we had the likes of what's his name, Robbie Gotts and Jack Stevens and things. People, players like this on the bench went out on loan. Never heard of them again. You just don't hear from many of these players ever again once they've gone out on loan nowadays. And can you think of any?
You've caught me there.
The last one.
Joe, the one that I'm springing to mind, Joe, even though he's not in the squad at the moment, is Joe Gelhardt. He's gone out. Didn't come back though. But that was, I feel, it didn't.
When was the last time Gelhardt?
Okay. Here we go. Brendan Aronson. No,
but he wasn't a young player, was he? He was already a first.
Youngish.
He was youngish, but he wasn't. He was they were bought as players for the first team.
But they went out on loan and come back and been stronger.
I'm talking about players that came up through the youth team, went out on loan, and then have come back to then be a mainstay in the first team. There hasn't been any for a long, long, long time. A lot of these boys who are getting through, we look at Calvin, These guys are straight into the first team, no loans, just straight into the first team because they're good enough. And I think Harry Gray will be one of these. And it's great to see. I know the under-21s, regardless of what you think about whether playing at York and whatnot, they won the other night, didn't they? And again, you look at, is it Alfie Cresswell, who's obviously Charlie's brother, scored a goal, and you're thinking, gosh, how many kids have these people got? You know what I mean? Cresswell, Gray, and all the rest of it. But he scored the other day, and will he be the next sort of thing? Upcoming player to come from. I mean, there's one that I really was frustrated with. That wasn't a homegrown player, but I thought he's got something, this lad, and they just didn't bother with him. It was Bielsa at the time.
Who was that?
It was Mateusz Bogusz, with the Polish lad, and you just thought he's playing into full international now for Poland.
Yeah,
you just think
my to kind of you came up with a great question. You look at Charlie Cresswell, he's doing wonders over in France at the moment. Was that one which we should have maybe let go rather than getting a fee for him potentially to come back in? Because I think now him coming back could have been a really good defensive player in this squad in the Premier League, given that he's built his career up now. He's got a foot in League One. He's really, kind of made a marker there. That could be one which could have got away, because I think he will go for big money, by the way, in the next couple of years.
I mean, whoever
that was probably one which kind of slipped under the radar because obviously fell out of fark. But hey,
I think whoever signed off on that one has dropped a bit of a bollock, really, because
so that's what I'm saying. Is like with you look at Charlie Cresswell now, when you watch him at League One, he's grafting, he's learning, he's getting better, and if Leeds, maybe it was probably for profit, sustainability rules, PSR will have been all over that, because obviously they got a sizable fee for him at that age. It probably is one which got away, but that's my point there, is that if you get somebody out, get them the right club, because I think that's important for these players, get them the right club and they could do well. Well, yeah, I think Charlie Cresswell is the one which got away, but hey, it doesn't matter.
Like
he's not out there anymore.
Well, no, he's not. He wasn't ever. And Mike Collins said the big teams have come and tempted some of our young lads away previously, as far as they have, haven't they? And this one with Cresswell was like, why aren't you playing him? I mean, it was when we got relegated. He was never in the team really when we got relegated, was he? But he already made his Premier League debut the season before, if you remember, and he did well. And he thought, why are you not playing him? And I know he played a handful of games in the first season with Farkin, but why aren't you playing him consistently? He's obviously good enough to play in the Championship. Could have played in the Premier League.
And he did. If I remember, Charlie, he played at Millwall, didn't he? Didn't he go down on loan with? Who was it? Not Gelhardt. Who was it? Shackleton, yeah. Well, that's another one. Jamie Shackleton.
Yeah, but again, he's not done. I think he's still at Sheffield United, isn't he? But he don't play. He's always consistently injured. Had issues with driving bans, didn't he, as well last year? I think as well did Jamie. So I don't know, but and like I said, Jimbo says Bogus went on a long time be there, and it far too many distractions to concentrate on football over there. I would be in amnesia every week. I don't know. Do you remember it, Jimbo? Do you remember going there? I don't know.
Probably shut down now.
But I mean, he did. He had a real list of where you're going there. You're just going for crack. You're going for football, because I think he went to Ibiza. He went to LA, and he's just a quick question, Arron. Do you know where he's playing now?
Mateus, God, I've no idea. Probably is he in America somewhere.
No, he was in America up until.
I'll say the I don't know, the Slovakian league. I don't know.
No. He's playing in Mexico.
Mexico
with Cruz Full. So he's playing in Mexico. Yeah.
Well, he's probably having a nice time in Mexico as well.
Probably is. That's what
it's a very nice country.
He's going for the nice places, which is fair enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's enjoying it. Why
LA,
not?
Mexico.
But I think that's the point. So I think when you look at Harry, I think you've got to make sure that whatever plans Leeds have in place for him, that we just allow him to grow, mature, get better, and learn and develop. That's the key thing for these young players. And I know Leeds have probably historically haven't done well with players going out on loan and coming back. But when you look down the leagues, you look at people like Harry Kane, who's a world-class centre forward. He has done a few shifts in the EFL, and he has been around some of those teams and progressed up. And that's my point that I was trying to make, is that you need players to graft, learn, soak it all in, and come back stronger. And I think so long as Leeds keep him under contract, they will allow him to do that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, no, absolutely. But I believe Harry will be one of these players that won't go out on loan. I think when he's ready, he'll be straight into the team, because it might be a couple of years yet, but I feel like
it also depends on what's happening with Leeds, because do you throw Harry Gray into a relegation battle, or do you throw him into a comfortable mid-table Premier League season? I think finding the time for him to pick your moment to make a break into the team is also key.
It is, yeah, and I think Fark's good at that, isn't he? I guess he understands when to throw them in, when they're not due. I think the form of Archie Gray was just like, I cannot leave him out, because he just adapted to it so well. Whether his brother does that or not, I don't know. But his brother's a bit more attacking, isn't he, than Archie? I think. A bit more.
Harry is. He is more of a forward player.
Yeah.
One thing I do want, and I have to moan about this, don't throw him into a cup game, because the cup games are waste everybody's time in the cup games.
Well, the next cup game, we're obviously out of the Carabao, aren't we?
Yeah.
We lost to Sheffield Wednesday, didn't we? So, next one is the FA Cup in January. We're not going to win the cup, are we? So what's the point? And, I remember obviously Bielsa got nailed, didn't he, at Crawley, and the players weren't up for it, were they? And you just think, goodness me, just get over it, get it over with and get out of the thing, because more importantly is the Premier League games. Obviously, this one's massive, Aaron. This one coming up, because I feel like if we lose this, we've got West Ham at Ellen Road, haven't we? The following week, it's a big couple of weeks this for Fark. And I said after we lost that game on a couple of weeks ago on against Spurs.
I think you've only just recovered, haven't you?
I think so. And then it's then again another one coming straight after it, But look, I think if Burnley beat us, and then I think basically, Aaron, is what I'm saying it now is if we don't get any points out of these next two, I think he's done.
No. I'll come on to this. I just want to touch on two brilliant comments which have just come in about Harry Gray. Just to kind of counteract your argument, George Jimbo says, look at Jadon Anthony. Came on loan to Leeds and is now having an amazing season with Burnley. Yeah, he is. And Colin says it's too early to send him in now while we are in our present position, which is 15th in the league. Right, George, you want to touch on Burnley? You're right. It's an absolutely massive game for Leeds at the weekend. Leeds making the short trip over to Turf Moor to Burnley. And then they are home to West Ham Friday night under the lights, always special. Then they have Brighton away and then Forest at home. Let's just hope Forest away. Let's just hope Big Ange is still in charge at Forest then, because they seem to be in self-destruct mode. But let's touch on Burnley and West Ham then, George, because Burnley, you're right, this is a massive game. What would you say, George, is a good return for me? Is it 3 points, or would you be happy with a point?
From this Burnley game?
And the Burnley game.
3 points otherwise.
3 points. They're very strong defensively. That's the issue. Hey?
Don't care.
We drew with them last year.
Well, this is now.
Right?
You're absolutely fine with a 0-0 draw last year, weren't we? That was absolutely fine. It kept our run going. It kept us at the top. It kept them at bay. This time's different. If we lose on Saturday, we're a point in front of them. with West Ham to come at Ellen Road, like you said, on Friday night, which will be a cracker of a match. But you've got to go there and want 3 points. You've got to go there to the promoted sides. Our fellow team, Sunderland and Burnley, both of them, regardless of whether it's at home or away, you need to be coming there with a positive attitude and saying we're going to win this game today. Because otherwise, what's the point? You're going to Burnley and wanting a point? No, that's not good enough. So, it needs to be.
A point's not bad, George, and I'll tell you why. Because you're away in the Premier League. As long as you get 3 points at home and a point where that's 4 points, you could potentially take off them.
Yeah, but you understand the point, and you've got to go with a positive attitude and say,
"Oh yeah, listen,
you've got to win this game."
We have, and you always put the marker down when we went to Wolves and won.
That was the last away game, wasn't it?
It was, and Leeds are more than capable of going to get a result at Turf Moor. They really are. They've only won one game this season. I think that was their first home game against Sunderland, wasn't it? In the league.
They had that incredible record at Turf Moor last season. Didn't get beat. They have been beaten this season, haven't they? Liverpool beat them at Turf Moor. They were really lucky.
Really
late. But the facts say they did lose a game, which they did. So that record has gone. I think we can. Yeah, I think we can win this game, and I think we should be going with a win in mind. I know Jayden Anthony bringing his vibes, on Saturday. I think he'll be. I mean, I don't think he'll be far off an England call up me. I mean, if he continues like he does, he's got 4 goals from 7 games already this season, and I think obviously he's enjoying it under Parker and enjoying it at Burnley. Didn't get a look in really with Farke, but he'll be wanting a bit of revenge in a way. I think. On Farke on Saturday, he'll be up to his tricks and looks a different player completely than he did when he was playing. I know he was having difficulty personally with everything that happened with him when he was at Leeds as well. But still, he looks like he's got over. Looks like he's getting. He's looking well, and it's good to see really because well done to him. He's got 4 goals, and that's no mean feat at all from a promoted side. To go and score that many goals in a Premier League season so early on. So he's definitely the threat. Otherwise, I don't really see what they have, to be quite fair. Lyle, what's his name's rubbish. And Lyle Foster is his name, is it? The South African lad, the striker. He's no good. I just don't think, really, they don't score that many. Although Anthony does have, I don't know how many they've scored, but I don't feel like they've scored many.
For us, the pressure is 100% on Burnley, though, isn't it, George? Because they've got to go and get a result. Their home fans will be expecting a result.
I think
the pressure's all on them.
The pressure is a little bit on them because with the home form, I don't think they'll be expecting a win, but I think
they will. They'll be expecting promoted team. They'll be expecting a win there with the Burnley fans, of course they will.
Well, I mean, look at maybe you're right. Actually, home team against a fellow promoted side, but we're stronger than they am. I think we're stronger. I mean, they could, Jimbo. They could come back to bite me, but I don't. What else? I mean, Colin's saying he's injured. I don't think Foster is. I think he's been past fit. And I don't know really what else they have, to be quite fair. I know it might bite me a little bit, but honestly, in terms of attacking prowess, I know they're defensively very, very strong. Defensively, they're immaculate, but we can puncture them with. I know 1 or 2 of our lads are out, and I think Okafor might be out, which is a bit of a blow. I know you're not fully sold on him, Arron, but still he's scoring your goals. He's probably our top scorer, is he not? So, So what else do we have? I think Willie Nonto's out, isn't he still? I mean,
yeah, I think so. He could probably be a late one for Nonto.
What kind of forget about Burnley for a moment, because look, we're going about, we'd have to take a point at Burnley. I mean, come on.
You take a point away from home in the Premier League,
Need
George.
to go there.
You always take a point away from home.
Need to go there and beat them. Ordinarily, you do against any other Premier League side.
But they are a Premier League side, George. That's the thing.
Yeah, against any other Premier League side, I said.
Right. Okay.
When you've got Burnley and Sunderland, no disrespect to either of them, but when you've got the other two promoted sides, you've got to go there, regardless of whether it's home at Ellen Road or away at Turf Moor or the Stadium of Light. You have to go there to get the 3 points. Because why else? What else is...
I completely understand what you're saying. You look at Leeds, though, last year. They didn't win there last year. They drew, lost at home to Burnley. They drew at Sunderland when they should have won that game.
Shouldn't have done it.
But the history books say it was a draw. And I think we beat Sunderland, didn't we? We hammered them.
No, it was 2-1. It was
a hammering. Yeah, we beat them 2.
We should have had more goals.
It should have been more. But 4-1. 5 points of those 2 last year. You've got to start with a point as a minimum, and see. But I think for me, the game against Burnley will be tough for Leeds. I think it'll be really tough to break down. I think they'll be behind the ball, they'll pat the bus, they'll defend for their lives as they always do. And I just hope that the Leeds need to score first. It's as simple as that in this one. They have to score first.
I think if we score first, and we win.
Yeah, I agree.
I think,
but it's breaking them down. They will put 5. There'll be 10 men behind the ball every time Leeds get the ball. So set pieces are going to be so key. And I think defending set pieces, Burnley have been okay at that this season.
we need to see more from set pieces. I think in general in this team, because we've got some big lads in our team now, and they're not really pulling up the trees in it. To be fair, but I think. Given if we get a good result on Saturday, everybody starts to think, well, it's not looking too bad. 11 points from, 8 games? It's the 8th game. Yeah. That's not too bad. But, if you look at it and we win, everybody goes, oh, well, that's fantastic and whatnot. But, if we're losing games, again, I think anybody else agree? I mean, I don't know how many people are watching. It just seems like Jimbo and Colin are commenting in, but anybody want to comment in and say, for me, if we lose both those games, I fully think he should be sacked.
Well, if we lose both games, we're in a bit of a pickle, aren't we? Because they will have caught up. What I want to see from this, from the next 4 games in particular, is you want to see that cushion, which we've currently got, extended, because that cushion is so important, especially when you're going into the dogfight of the Christmas run, and the December period just completely panics me. We will be on the back of some hammerings then.
I don't know if we will. I think I've seen enough defensive like that.
Yeah, but listen, when you're coming up against, let me just go through the December fixtures. So the end of November, so after the international break, we've got Villa at home. Be a really tough game that. Then you play Man City away the week after. Then you play Chelsea at home, Liverpool at home, Brentford away, which I think is one which we could potentially take something from. The Palace at home have gone wonders so far this season. And then that's it for Christmas. Then you've got then you're back at Liverpool on the 30th of December. So you're looking at those fixtures there. City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and as things stand, Palace, and then Liverpool again. January the 3rd, when we play Manchester United, well, that's an easy 3-pointer, that, let's be honest. It just really worries me because your goal difference is going to get hammered there. Liverpool will spank us. City will spank us. Chelsea, they'll have a good go at spanking us. And that's the nature of the Premier League, I'm afraid. And I know it's very controversial for me to say that. We should be going in there wanting that Leeds will win points and points and points. But ultimately, the Premier League beasts, these big boys, will absolutely destroy us because that's the nature of the league.
Well, they might do, but then again, they might do. But I know we haven't really played any of the top.
But Arsenal spanked us 5-0.
Arsenal, but other than
Then
that, I don't think we've played any of the top teams really just yet, have we? So, it's still. We did get spanked by Arsenal, but there you go. I mean, like I said, that's just what happens in this league if you're not careful. And at times you just give up and say, "Oh, well, we've lost the game," and that's what you don't want. But
the problem is that there's 14 other Premier League teams who feel exactly the same, which I've just said.
Of course it is, but it's games like Burnley away where you need to be picking up maximum points then, because otherwise, where are you going to get them from if you write off 12 games already of the season? That's nearly a quarter of the season gone, and you've got no points. So where are you going to pick up the rest of them from? I mean, I disagree with you, Aaron. I think we might win one of these games where you would expect us to get spanked. Then I think we might win.
Right, if we do that and we lose to Burnley, it evens itself out, doesn't it?
Look, we're not going to lose to Burnley. I don't think. I think. And look at a bit of fixtures. I mean, all respect to Burnley. I've had a bit of had a bit of banter and stuff with Burnley fan channels before and stuff. They're a good they're a good group, but we should be going to Burnley and expecting and going and believing that we can win, because I think otherwise, what is that? I mean, we've got a good record at Turf Moor, to be fair, over the last 4. You'd have to go back, Aaron, till April of 2016 since the last time that Burnley beat Leeds at Turf Moor. That's 4 games without a defeat. Leeds with 1-2. One was a penalty shootout winning a League Cup game, and then the other one was at 4-0 in the COVID season, where Rodrigo Moreno was in really good form. He got a quick fire brace, and we won 4-0. And that was the last Premier League game we've played. Obviously, we drew there the next season. And then obviously we drew there last season. So there's 4 games without defeat at Burnley for Leeds. And so I think, we've got to go there with good intentions and good positive energy. But we drew there that game last season was awful, wasn't it? I think it was just played within the middle of the park, really, wasn't it? It was just a real, we're both hoping for a draw. They were obviously going to get a draw because of Trafford and that massive long not conceding string. Yeah. So, that was it. In the end, and everybody's going off. If you're not of a Burnley persuasion, you kind of think, great, they've actually conceded a goal when they finally did. And now he's messed himself up, obviously not financially, but otherwise with going back to Man City, because he's never going to play a game again other than the odd cup game here and there,
Yeah. Interesting. Right then, George, we haven't done this for a while, so let's do a bit of this. Okay, it's Tanaka time. This is our little feature where we think of the weeks gone by with something which has caught our eye, as our little Japanese midfielder caught our eye many, many moons ago when he signed for Leeds. George, what's your Tanaka time this week?
Well, I mean, not many moons ago was he? He's been here for a little while, hasn't he, now, Tanaka?
Yeah. Still impresses us.
He does, yeah. And congratulations to him and his country. Obviously, like we said, beating Brazil, massive result for them. Aaron's celebrating up with a bear, kind of beer. He cannot wait to celebrate it with him. Other brands are available.
Speaking of brands, I'll go on to our sponsors soon.
Absolutely. Well,
Tanaka time.
Yeah, Tanaka time. So my Tanaka time this in the week gone past, Aaron, is, I don't know if you've seen it or if anybody in the comments have seen it. I expect you might have done, or it might have escaped your attention. But Mr. Javi Gracia is back in management, Aaron, and this is what I would like to speak about in mine this week. Aaron, Javi Gracia back to Watford. So their man was sacked. I think he was a Uruguayan lad. doesn't never last long, does he? At Watford, and Javi Gracia is back in management,
God.
and I was
He's
just open up
dreadful.
the trap door, as it were, to the comments and everything about thinking about his time in charge of Leeds.
To this day, George, and I've got my notes here. How to this day he got the job at Leeds is beyond me. Javi Gracia was a complete and utter disaster. It was clearly auto panic. Oh crap, we need a head coach. Oh, he's a friend. I'll get him in. It just didn't work. We were absolutely under him. Shall I tell you what? I remember the Bournemouth game when we got absolutely thumped by Bournemouth. And that's when real alarm bells started ringing for me in that relegation year, because it was just awful. And he just come out with nonsense. And you just think, how the hell did this guy get a job? And now he'll be sacked in 5 weeks' time anyway.
But he won the FA Cup for Watford. The thing is, he's a hero down there.
He's a hero there, but his time's completely different. Different changing now down there. But Javi Gracia, what a complete clown is the best way to describe him, because he was an absolute joke, was useless, and was part of the problem why we got relegated.
It was extremely poor. I mean, if he, even when he was appointed, I think it was February time, or maybe you still had
it was after Marsh. He kind of stuck around. It was after Marsh, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was. We sacked Marsh, and then we went about a month with Scabala.
That's it. Yeah,
and then they finally appointed Javi Gracia, but I think there was still a good chunk of the season left with Gracia there, and it was just tossed away. And it was like, he wasn't sacked till after that Bournemouth game, I don't think. That was like April time. So he probably had about...
came in, didn't he? And tried to...
Obviously, but at that point, it was almost like, after that Bournemouth match, I mean, like you said, Aaron, we were done, we were down. Yeah. And there was that bit where you thought about Bill. Was he saying something to the fans like, "Oh, don't bother with them," and it got everybody's back up, and then everybody started really analysing how the team were coming out the hotel before the game and not respecting the fans and all this kind of stuff. So it was a real issue, and I think Javi Gracia, he was out of his depth a little bit, and even though we were thought, well, he won the FA Cup with Watford, he did okay at Watford in his time there, but there's all sorts of different factors to do with that, and obviously it just didn't work. He was coming into a bit of a toxic atmosphere in the end, and it wasn't the right man. But he might do well in Watford, and it's a championship.
He probably will, but then he'll get sacked. I think when you look at that, he clearly lost the dressing room there, at least, because the performances were so poor under his stewardship. He was just awful. And it makes you think, well, actually, why they should have stuck with Scabala maybe until the end of the season, or they should have, if they were going to, with a panic then after that Bournemouth game, brought Big Sam in. They should have brought him in before then. And I've heard him on his podcast. He said, "Look, if I had more time, I'd have probably kept them up, and he probably would."
I think he would have done. I think if you bring in Allardyce when he brought in Gracia, I think would have stayed.
You might have had a chance.
I think would have stayed up. Yeah, it'd have made us more defensively solid. It'd have more time than 4 games to have a go when we were basically already nearly down mentally. Anyway, we were down. I think we were probably nearly down anyway already, and it just you had players who didn't want to be there really, who down tools already. It was
they were always thinking of the way out.
And also in that season as well, you've got to say, Aaron, that I don't know whether Gracia was in charge of the game at Everton. I think we got thumped there as well. We
got thumped left, right, and centre under Gracia.
We pretty much did, but I don't know whether he was in charge of that game, but I think that was like February time, I think. And Adams got injured in this game, and he didn't play a game for the rest. That was probably his last appearance for the club. He didn't play again, I don't think. And you've got to say as well, if Tyler Adams, as much as is unharmoniously left the club, if he'd have played that as well, would have got Allardyce in, I think would have probably stayed up. So there was odd bits and pieces. I didn't go for them, but obviously it was Orta as well. They didn't make a quick decision, and it
just
all,
dragged and dragged, and it was clearly a panic kind of thing. And listen, I hope he does well at Watford. I really do. But when you look at the managerial options which Watford have had, I think that is it 20 odd managers now they've had. It's something really ridiculous. He's gone back there. You know, where are Watford in the Championship?
I'm not sure.
I don't really pay attention to the Championship anymore.
I think I do occasionally, but it's just when the games are on, kind of thing. That's kind of
Watford are currently sitting in 11th.
11th.
3 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats.
That's not too bad, is it?
They're 4 points away. No, sorry, they're 3 points away from 6th. Yeah. Listen, there's no way they will go up anyway because they're crap.
They're poor, yeah.
They're poor.
Yeah, they won't be anywhere near it, yeah.
Okay, so Javi Gracia is your Tanaka Time. Jimbo's got involved with his Tanaka Time. He says, my Tanaka Time, Bradford Bulls have been promoted to Super League because apparently they are the 10th biggest team. Could you imagine if football did the same rules for promotion and relegation? Yeah, I don't know if you've heard about this, George. I was reading this earlier this afternoon. Bradford Bulls have been promoted to the Super League, even though they didn't qualify for Super League this year in terms of promotion and relegation due to some kind of ranking points. And they've been promoted. As a Keighley Cougar fan, I think it's an absolute joke that the Rugby Football League of, the Rugby League Association, Rugby Football League, whatever it's called, have decided to go these ranking things. It's complete nonsense. It's a real joke. Oddsall's monster truck rally kind of pitch. They've got monster trucks there every week doing, I don't know, jumping over bicycles and things like that. It's just a joke. It shouldn't be. It's really unfair. That I really do feel for that kind of relegation and promotion. It would be great if Leeds did that because the EFL would find ways to kind of keep us in the Championship.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I didn't know about this actually. In fact, the lad I work with currently, I think he used to play for Bradford Bulls, so I'm sure.
All right, yeah.
Quite
is there a Super League team? I know they've got pedigree. They've won the Super League, they've won the Club World Championship and stuff like that. But as a Cougars fan, a Keighley Cougars fan, who they missed their deadline to kind of put all the data and stuff in. They didn't get any ranking points this year because
Keighley and are they in the same? Were they in the same division as Bradford then?
They were in League One, which is just one, but they got relegated from the Championship. They just missed out on the Championship as well a few years ago, but it's all been restructured again. So they're going to be playing Championship teams next year anyway because they're abolishing League One. So all of the Championship and League One teams are just going to be playing each other in one big league. It's a complete joke. It's a real mess. They don't need to do it, and it takes away the beauty of the game, the beauty of sport with promotion and relegation. We saw it with Leeds last year. You celebrate your highs and you drown your sorrows with the lows when you're relegated, but that's what makes football, rugby, cricket. Yorkshire survived in the county championship this season by beating Durham. That promotion and relegation is so fundamental. It's part and parcel of the of sport in this country, and it should be protected and it should be used, and it shouldn't be on merit. If you've got bloody 10,000 followers on Twitter or whatever, that's what they use. They use that one of their benchmark kind of tools is how many followers you've got on social media. Well, that's nonsense. Hull KR, I think it was Hull KR, I'm ranting now. Hull KR picked up a lot of Coldplay fans because they played at their ground. It's just complete nonsense. It really is nonsense. Anyway.
Yeah, it does seem a bit nonsensical, doesn't it? But, that's just, I mean, I agree, it shouldn't be in the top division based on, what it should be just purely based on, do you get enough points to get there? Because how else are you going to get there?
Exactly. What I mean? But it stops, you look at someone like Wrexham who have come through the Football League and they're aiming for the Premier. that story of coming from the National League all the way up to potentially hit, to hit the Premier League is a real fairy tale. But that's the beauty of the sport that we love in football, that you can do that, and if you remove relegation and promotion, you've got nothing to play for. It doesn't matter. You look at some of the Super League clubs, just turn up. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's it, isn't it? If there's no relegation, promotion, what is the point? Where's the trepidation of relegation or the elation of promotion? It doesn't.
Or qualifying for the Champions League, qualifying for top four or whatever. It's so fundamentally important for the structure of the game and the competition itself. Whereas if you didn't have any of that, just turn up. Doesn't matter.
Well,
what's the point of going to watch it?
No, exactly. If you win, you win. If you lose, well, it doesn't matter, does it? Whereas, you know what I mean? If like you said, where's the excitement of that? The trepidation of, oh crap, we've lost so many games, we're going to get relegated, and there's some kind of pressure on the pressure. Players like you're thinking, oh gosh, and then promotion, winning leagues, whatever else. What's the point if you don't?
Yeah. I'll give you my Tanaka Time really quickly before we jump on to previewing the Burnley scores. I don't know if you saw, you know what I'm going to say. I kind of got two. Bielsa visited the Malaysian branch of the Leeds United Supporters Club this week while Uruguay were out there. Spoke fondly of Leeds, which I thought was a really nice touch. And I know you think I'm talking nonsense about Bielsa.
No.
We love him, and his affection for the club is still there, and we hope he will come back eventually at some point to come back and get a real good send off from Brit Leeds. I just thought it was a really nice touch from Bielsa to still have us in his thoughts.
Of course he does. He didn't. I don't think he's got amnesia, has he?
No, I don't think so. I want to give that one a little mention.
What's the second one, Aaron?
Have you been watching the Celebrity Traitors?
No.
All right. Well, they're basically, in a nutshell, this is a real meme at the moment, or whatever it is, where a celebrity farted on TV.
Right.
And it's quite funny.
Which celebrities are there?
Celia Doodah. She's an actress. She's an old actress. An actress. Basically, she farted because she got scared, which I thought was quite funny.
Is there any other celebrities that are well known on it, or that we might know?
Yeah, there's Jonathan Ross.
All right.
Tom Daly, but he's been murdered now. He's gone. I'm currently missing Celebrity Traitors to record this show. Who else is on it? Alan Carr.
Okay.
Stephen Fry is on it.
Right.
I don't know. Who else is there? Kate Garraway. She's on it.
All right. Yeah. So fair enough.
Have you seen that Radrazani's coming back to Ellen Road apparently to watch us against West Ham?
All right. Fair enough. Hey, what about Pablo? Was doing well as well, isn't it? Castillo.
Pablo, yeah. Castillo, yes. Get him in.
Castillo, he's doing well so far. I think he's only 70, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still in caretaker charge, isn't he? Yeah. Colin says it's nearly time to get the Bielsa Christmas tree ornament out. It is. It's still in its packet, in its little kind of polystyrene packaging. Can't wait to get him back out. I always do. I just wish I could put it at the top of the tree, but the missus won't allow me. That's your Tanaka Time for this week. We've got to put a star at the top of our tree. What goes at the top of your Christmas tree out of interest?
Myself, Aaron.
You?
I can't remember. I just kind of what you thinking. I actually made that question, but of course, yeah. Who else are you asking?
Jesus.
No, it's yeah. Why not?
Jesus at the top.
Christmas, isn't he? But
what do you put at the top of your Christmas tree?
Apple pie.
I don't think you put an apple pie at the top. You put like a fairy or a star or a present or an angel. You don't put an apple pie at the top. But you're going to be fine come Christmas, because when if you want a job being Santa, you're fine with that beard.
That's a good point.
There you go. You just need to dye it white, because I think if any kid comes and sees you and Santa, they go, bloody hell, why has he got a brown beard?
I don't think they do that anymore, do they? I don't think they're allowed.
What?
To have Santa Claus. Well, there are Santa Clauses, aren't they? But I don't think they're allowed them to.
If I took any of my kids to a Santa Claus and saw Santa with a brown beard, I would be asking for my money back.
Well, you're gonna obviously dye it white, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd need to, yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's what you need to do for the festivities this year, George. Anyway, Christmas.
I've dabbled with that idea.
With it, yeah. Christmas out the window. We don't need to talk about Christmas just yet, because it's the beginning of October. Middle of October. Middle of October, yeah. Let's have a look at this. No quiz this week because we're running out of time. George, tell us about the score predictions for Leeds against Burnley at Turf Moor.
Right, it's going to be... You know what, Aaron? I think we'll win this game. Okay. I think we'll win it comfortably. Not comfortably, maybe on the scoreline, but like it might be semi-comfortable. I'm going to go with 2-0.
Okay, 2-0. Who's your scorers?
I think Calvert-Lewin both.
Okay, a brace for Calvert-Lewin. Good. Don't forget as well, if you want to get your comments in about the game of the weekend, please do. 2-0 Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That's what George is saying this week. For me, George, I'm going to go very conservative, and I'm going to say 1-1. 1-1.
Well, Jimbo's going with 0-0, which might...
Yeah, Jimbo's 0-0, yeah.
It's all about getting the first goal, and if we do, I think we can build on it. I think if not, because I'd fancy us defensively to keep out. Well, Jane will probably have a good game, but I think I back us defensively to keep them out. Really, it's just whether we break them down and get a goal, and then when if we do get that first goal, I do back us to be solid enough to see it out and build.
If we score first, then yes, but I do think that Burnley are going to make it difficult. 1-1 for me. Shall I tell you who's going to score for us? Anton Stack for me is going to be the goal scorer this week for Leeds.
Yeah. Well, that'd be fair.
He's due a good game, isn't he? He's due a good one. He's been off the radar the last couple of games.
And a little bit, but he can't play good every game. And I think Longstaff, who got Player of the Month, did he? Or the Leeds Player of the Month award. He's been very good of recent times. So hopefully he can keep that up as well. But he's keeping Tanaka out the team, isn't he? Really, whether it switch up in terms of personnel, I think possibly on Saturday, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So let us. We have to. Glenn agrees with you, George. There. Going back to the beard talk. Just watch Leeds, George. You'll go white in no time.
Yeah. Well, I think there are some in there somewhere. To be fair.
Collins going 2-0 Leeds win against Burnley and 2-0 against West Ham. He's getting his predictions in for West Ham already, which is good. But we will see. But let's hope Leeds compete and bring back to Ellen Road 3 points rather than a point, George.
Absolutely.
I've also got some news in regards to the pod, George. You know a little bit about this, but we really how we've got this, I have no idea. We've got a sponsor, George, and they are the Strong Coffee Company. So you like freshly ground coffee, then all you need to do is get involved with the Strong Coffee Company and then use Talking Leeds for 20% off your first order. So if you like coffee, guys or ladies, go and enjoy yourself with a nice bit of freshly ground coffee from the Strong Coffee Company. They're going to send us some samples, George, I believe, and Jerry, so we can sample them out. But we've picked up a sponsor, 20% off your first order with the Strong Coffee Company. You can Google them. We'll put some links out on our socials. Just use Talking Leeds and you'll get 20% off, George. I've no idea how we've got a sponsor, but we've got one.
Yeah, I mean, it's strong coffee. You might need strong coffee when you're listening to me and yourself. Jabber on.
I think that's why they want us. More than a strong coffee, you need a strong drink, don't you? If you listen to us for an hour.
To be fair, you need a stiff drink.
Yeah, is it better? It is better than Nescafe, Jimbo. You just need to go and give it a go. Give it a go.
Give it a go, Jimbo. It's the best coffee you could get.
It's got more caffeine. It's got all the bits and bobs. I have got a script which I'm supposed to read, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say what it is, give it a go. It's all fair trade and stuff like that. But there you go. They probably won't like me for saying that because I've got to send our recording in. But go and give them a go if you like fresh coffee and you get coffee. They probably won't be our sponsor next week. It might be somebody else.
They probably won't if you're going to do something that you're not going to do. But read it out. Why not? Is it a long thing?
Yeah. It's quite long, but I don't want to read it out because it's too long. Basically, it's got lots of things in it which help you to be more alert, and it's a robust and smooth flavour similar to a traditional cup of coffee, but enhanced with added benefits. There you go. It's got protein in it, which is good, and it fuels your mind and body for hours.
Yes, there you go. Absolutely. That's what
so go on. If you're listening on the pod, just go on, Google it when you get. If you're listening, you can't. Don't Google it. But if you want to go and take a look at them online, Google Strong Coffee Company, and if you like what you see, go and give them a 20% discount off using Talking Leeds in the kind of the bar, when you go and check out, you get 20% off your first order. It's not subscription based either, so you can just go and enjoy 20% off your freshly ground coffee. And that is that, George. So they probably won't be our sponsors next week, but who knows? Who knows?
Excellent. Well, we can always put the feelers out for another one if they don't want to do it.
Well, don't know, but there you go. George, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you to everybody who's listened. Don't forget as well, please give us a like and a subscribe. YouTube have been unsubbing some Leeds United podcasts, George.
Really? What does that mean?
They've been unsubbing us. I've no idea why. They've been unsubbing Leeds channels. So please do give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcasts, share away. Simple as that. George, please do. We want to get up to 500.
Yes, I think that would be nice. When at 500 before the end of the year would be good.
Well, that would be amazing, but I don't think we will because we might be out of a sponsor by then. George, we'll leave it there and we will see you next week at the same time. Hopefully, George will have conducted his Bible studies by then. And we will see you then.
See you then, everybody. Bye.